Escape from Tarkov and Dredge are two games that I loved, which are very different games. However, they both have inventory systems. Systems that are similar in some ways, but I'm a little bit more interested in their differences. And today I'd like to talk to you about some of the things that I liked from each of those systems and how I plan to incorporate those pieces into an inventory system of my own for my upcoming game, Headhunters. Headhunters is an extraction shooter where you play as a angel that has fallen from heaven, and now you're sort of amassing a demonic army from the depths of hell to go up into the overworld and fight the soulless, who are sort of like a undead, zombified army that is slowly taking over Earth. The gameplay is sort of like Escape from Tarkov meets Call of Duty Zombies. When you go into a match, you're going to bring in your characters, and they're going to be equipped with weapons and gear, which is all sort of a wager for your success. The longer you stay in the match, the better the loot opportunities can be, more and more rare items. However, you also run the increased risk of getting overwhelmed by the zombies and perhaps not making it out at all. And the longer you stay, the greater the likelihood is that another demon army, because they don't all quite get along, is going to invade into your match and then fight you. And so there's a bit of PvP, or player versus player combat as well. If you fight another player, you could take all their loot, and you could also take their characters. So if you actually defeat the people who they're playing as, you could take those characters and drag their bodies down to hell so that you can demonically possess them to be a part of your zombified, demonic, undead army. So, and that's the part where I'm really excited about. But whether you win or lose, a big part of the gameplay is the inventory system. And that's why I'm so excited to kind of look at these games, Escape from Tarkov and Dredge, to figure out what parts I like, what do I want to keep, and then what parts do I think are maybe not the best fit for my game, and I want to change it in a way to make, my game uniquely its own. So let's take a look at Tarkov first, and let me tell you a bit about what I like.
Got ourselves a Chad approaching. This is for Philip, the Chad. Grenadier's already done, but I just can't stop. Time to get that cheddar.
What in the hell is this guy running? He just had a shotgun. That's it. This is the man that we were looking for. He had a shotgun too. What is this Timmy loot? Alright, let's get out of here.
Alright, let's talk Tarkov. This is not only the original extraction shooter, but it also just happens to be my favorite game of all time. So certainly it has been a huge inspiration for me developing Headhunters. Let me tell you about what I like. This game has a very, very cool customization system. So the way that it works is you've got your inventory here on the right-hand side, and over the course of the game, you're going to be collecting all these different items. For example, you might grab this scope, and then you can right-click on a gun in your inventory, edit preset, and then you can view all of the different attachments that you could put onto this gun. And what's really cool is it actually edits the stats for the gun while you're previewing these different attachments. So for example, I might choose to pull this attachment off, click save, go back into my inventory, and then I can drag this other attachment on. So I really like that. I love the level of customization. And I also like how when you add certain attachments, they feel like they have real consequential weight with respect to the amount of space they're taking up, because the gun will actually grow based on the number of mods you add. So for example, if I add this 1x2 hexagon suppressor, the gun itself, as you saw, grew to take up another 2 slots in the inventory. I think that is awesome, and definitely something that I wanted to implement in my own game. However, what I don't like, it's really for the same reason, is that they're often a little inconsistent with respect to how big exactly an item is. So for example, this hexagon AKM is a 1x2 item. However, when I put it onto the gun here, The same icon is represented in this screen as a 1x1 item. So here it appears as a little square, a little 1x1, and then if I pull it out, again, it's a 1x2. So I don't like that. I don't think it's good when they sort of subvert their own paradigm and take something that was a certain size and change the size. I think it makes it a lot harder for like a user to visualize how everything fits together and how to sort of like visualize the design space, the puzzle space, using the spatial thinking side of their brain. It's a weird thing that they've done here, and I don't like it. Similarly, this is the same exact thing, basically. The gun will grow to be the size of the inventory slot. So, for example, this gun, the AKS-74N, is huge. It's 6 by 2, so it's 12 inventory slots. But when I throw it over here in the inventory, it actually shrinks down to be the size that it needs to be in order to fit into your hand. Likewise, this relatively puny MP133 expands. It grows when you throw it into your hands so that it will fill this inventory slot. So I just think that's very weird, the way they've implemented that, because the size of things changes depending on where you're looking at it. The way that I would have much preferred they do it, and actually they do it in this case, is with the junk box. So this is something I love about Tarkov, is that some of the containers are larger on the inside than they appear to be on the outside. So for example, here's a box, it looks like it's 4x4, but if I double click on it to open it up, now it's huge. There's a ton of things that you can fit inside here. And what's really cool about that is the size that they take up on the inside is their true size. So this thing is a 2x3. If I pull it out, it's still a 2x3. Unlike how if I pull something out here that's a 1x1, I pull it out and it's like, oh wow, it's actually a 2x1, which you wouldn't have known if you didn't pull it out. So it's a little bit weird the way that they implemented that, but still a lot more here to love than to hate, I think. And the gun customization is like unmatched. There's very few games that have anything even near the level of customization that this provides. So the elephant in the room is, while this game is sometimes lauded for having Tetris-like gameplay, these exciting moments where you have to, maybe, let's say you just killed somebody and you have to find a way to fit all his loot into your bag. Well, the elephant in the room is that literally all of the items are rectangles. Some of them are squares, but as you probably know, a square is a rectangle. And it, I think, deprives the player of some really interesting gameplay of trying to rotate items and find a way to make them all fit together. There's some of that going on, but it's much more rare, and I wish that this game would have embraced that a bit more. The game Dredge, I think, does a really good job of creating interesting decisions with respect to the Tetris-like gameplay. So let's take a look at that.
In Dredge, you spend a lot of time fishing. We found that a more involved fishing game became frustrating quicker and felt more repetitive than a simpler one. So to keep things interesting, we use your boat's cargo instead. This way, over the course of an in-game day, you create an increasingly difficult puzzle for yourself. So the challenge of catching your first fish is not the same as catching your 10th.
Hopefully you've played this game. It's an awesome game. Another game with a grid-based inventory system, similar to the screen we were just looking at, except now the sides are switched. So now on the left-hand side you have your storage, literally labeled My Storage Locker, and then on the right-hand side you have your ship. This is what you're going to be taking with you on the high seas when you go to adventure. Now, there's some differences here. One of the first ones that you might notice is that some of the items are not rectangles. So for example, this one is a nice L shape, and that creates some really interesting decisions. Sid Meier once said that a good game is a series of interesting decisions. So the reason why I'm explaining this is because I never want to deprive my players of those interesting decisions. And I'll show you now how some of the design choices that Dredge made help to emphasize that gameplay and create fun moments that come from those decision-making mechanisms that they've put into this game. So for example, if you take damage in the ship, it creates a little X mark like this. And as a result of that, when I try to put this item in the inventory, I can't put it where that X is. So suddenly I'm constrained. I have to work around the X. That's fun. The other thing is that the inventory itself is not a perfect rectangle. So I've got these weird shapes on the top here where I'm like, how am I going to fit this in? I have to like find the right piece to rotate to get into that slot. The other thing you'll notice is that some of the inventory slots have like an icon on it. So for example, this one has a little wheel, which represents a engine, and then this one over here has a little hook, which represents a fishing rod. And then I think there's one over here where this is a net space. So you can only put certain inventory items on top of those slots. So this is very much like the Tarkov system, where they only allow you to put a weapon in certain places on the player's inventory. However, I think they've done it in a little bit more of an elegant solution here, because they've maintained consistency with respect to how large certain items are. So for example, if this net is a 2x2, when it's in your storage locker, if you pull it over into your cargo, again, it's going to be a 2x2. Okay, so I can go and put that in, and boom, it takes up exactly the same amount of spaces that it took on the left-hand side as the right-hand side. I think that's smart, and it's those kind of things that the player will just sort of like intuitively grab, whereas there's a lot of moments in Tarkov where you're like, this works that way? Sort of a bit of a surprise. So anyway, those are some of the things I really like about how Dredge, which is a bit of a more recent game, has iterated on this design of a grid-based inventory. And now I'm excited to show you Headhunters, the game that I'm currently working on, to show you how I've taken ideas from both of these games and combined it into something that I think is rather special. Hey, so here is Headhunters. It's a work in progress. However, this is the system of inventory that I've currently set up. And as you can see, very similar to Tarkov at first glance. On the right-hand side, we've got the storage. On the left-hand side, we have everything in this character's inventory. In Headhunters, unlike Tarkov, well, in a way, unlike Tarkov, you control multiple different characters. So I can go over to this guy's inventory, and I can see he's got a bunch of gun parts down here. Or I can go to this other guy's inventory, and he's got, a flashlight or a laser sight. Okay? And as you just saw there, I can drag these items onto other items in order for them to grow, just like in Tarkov when I'm adding different mods. The difference is that these mods are going to allow me to create non-rectangular objects, so I still get some of that exciting Tetris gameplay that Dredge provides. So for example, I might add a extended magazine there, I might add a stock, I might add a suppressor and a sight, and suddenly I've got a gun with a very interesting sort of cross shape that is wholly unlike the little 1x2 pistol that we started with. However, I am realizing already that there are some issues with my original implementation. The first issue, a little obvious, is that this gun doesn't even fit in the weapon slot. It's like 3 tall, and there's only room for 2 height of weapons. So that is a bit of an issue that I have to address. And I think that, I don't like the way Tarkov did it with having the gun magically resize. I don't think that's a good idea. And I also don't know if I want to go with the way that Dredge did it, where you can only put a gun in certain areas, just like how they could only put an engine or a net or a fishing rod in certain areas of the inventory. I feel like maybe the best thing to do here would be, instead of just having a weapons section, I might change it so that the pawn just has its own inventory, which is kind of one chunk, similar to how your ship within Dredge is just one chunk. And then within that inventory, I might make certain areas inaccessible. Just like when the ship got damaged, you couldn't put anything there. Well, if this laser represents an area where there's some damage, you might have to find a way to kind of fit your gun in there so that it goes around the laser. I think that could be some interesting gameplay. So it's something that I'm interested in exploring, but this is sort of like my work in progress, and hopefully it was useful for you to kind of hear my thought process, some of the things I liked, what I didn't like, and sort of how I'm working now to bring it all together and create something similar but also unique in different ways as well. If you're interested in a little bit of the behind the scenes, I'll let you know that one of the challenges I faced when I was developing this system was thinking about how my gun was going to move when I added attachments. The way that Tarkov does it is very simple. The weapons always expand to the right. As you saw in the earlier section I showed in my video, it doesn't matter whether it's a silencer or a stock, whether or not in theory it's going to go on the left-hand side of the weapon or the right-hand side. It doesn't matter. The gun always expands to the right. But I didn't like that. I didn't feel like that made much sense. So the way that my game works is if you add a stock, which would intuitively be on the right, the gun grows to the right. And if you add a suppressor, the gun grows to wherever you attach the suppressor. I like that. However, one of the issues I ran into actually is this is a lot more complicated than it seems, because every item in this inventory has a position. So for example, this silencer up here is at position 0, 0, and then this suppressor over here is at position 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. So this would be position 2, 1, where the X coordinate goes first. Or excuse me, it would be 1, 2. However, I realized that this gun, when I add a suppressor, it actually changes positions, because now this gun is positioned over here instead of over here. So what I did in order to make that work is when I notice you're going to add a mod, I first think about how it's going to grow that weapon. So since I realized that this muzzle is going to grow the weapon 2 positions to the left, I move the gun 2 positions to the left, and then I add the attachment. So that kind of all happens instantaneously, but the result looks a little bit like as if you were to drag the gun over, then put the suppressor into the gun, and then allow it to expand back. So that's kind of like one example of the many different challenges I have faced in designing the system. And not to mention, one unique thing about Headhunters is that you don't control one character, but many. So here I've got one character, but I've also got this character over here. And what I can do is I can go into this guy, I can equip this weapon, but then I can drag it over to this other guy's slot, and then go over to him to see that the weapon has been equipped. So there's a lot of inventory management that's happening beyond the visuals, just on a pure data layer, which took a bit of time to set up. Not to mention it's networked for a multiplayer game. So there's a lot of caveats there, still in progress, lot that I still need to do, but hopefully it was at least interesting for you to see kind of my process and how I thought about these things and how I'm still working towards creating interesting decisions for the player. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and like the video so that more people can check it out, and you could be the first to know if I create an updated devlog. And if you're interested in checking out this game when it does become available, consider wishlisting it on Steam, where you'll be the first to know when the game is eventually on sale. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to get back to you and share with you my thoughts. I'm so excited to be working on this game. It is slow going. I'm about 3 years into this game right now, just because I do have a day job. But man, it's so much fun to go back to it. So the more and more I work on it, the more I miss it, and I'm excited to bring you guys some future videos, hopefully exploring some of the other decisions that I've been making over the last few months that I've been working on the game. Thanks.